Yes, very well. And again, thanks for taking your time off to come and see us. And these guys would just like to know a little history on you. We're very familiar.
Yes.
As your introduction, my respect for you is your absolute tenacity, your absolute commitment. And let's just go back to 2007, a long time ago, eh?
It was pretty scary actually when I actually put some points down as to where I was to where I am now. And the emotion attached to that, to just the type of person I was. I wasn't a real nice person.
Let me just say this.
Yep.
I think he was a lovely person. However, and you'll see his softness in how he speaks, and he spoke exactly the same. And I have an intuitiveness about me, and we had a conversation, didn't we, Brad?
We've had some really, really good conversations. Lots of wonderful conversations with mentoring, and we've had a couple of not so wonderful ones. And
what showed up? What showed up for you? What did we just discuss? If you like, the core issue that would hold a person back from their success.
Okay. With me, which I'll obviously be covering, was basically a background with me was I was in the sport. So like here in Newcastle, I'm a local boy. So I'd played, first grade league. I've done indoor cricket, squash, soccer, you name the sport, rowing boats, competitive swimming, all the works. So I'd been sledged, and sledged the best. But when we sat down and you're talking to someone like your honesty and integrity, and you said to me, Bradley, when you first saw me, you saw me as a very angry man. I didn't see myself as that. So that I was stopping me from my success.
Absolutely. There's only three things you want to write it down why we are where we are financially. Number one is fear. And fear of success, fear of failure. Number two is anger. And anger, you can write frustration next to that. Is any form of that, any anxiety of that. And if you want to know how much anger you got, just check your dad. Just check your mum. That'll be a hint.
Absolutely.
And I never knew his dad, but I know he'd be very harsh on him.
Very much so, yeah. Very much so.
And a young boy, and there'll be young boys here, young girls. And that's where it originates from. It's why we do this work. And the last one is the unworthiness, which actually comes from the anger of trying to please, trying to do, trying to be. This wouldn't apply to anyone else here in the room, only for Brad.
It's so true, so true. Absolutely. And on my first slide there, when I get into it, it was my self-esteem was shot.
But up front, you looked like everything was in order. We could pull that off. Yeah.
Up front, I was
Mr. Success. Here I am.
Here I am. Okay, I obviously didn't wear the same clothes, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof, but underneath.
Exactly. In fact, more of the anger will show up as more of the scare shows up. Because, scare is always there for anger. And Ruthie, you won the lottery. Most beautiful woman. Just a fabulous woman.
She certainly is.
And always been your supporter. And your kids?
Kids they're just phenomenal. They've now 11 and 8 respectively, and happy, joyous. Yeah, they learn a lot from our kids.
And great mirrors. So when we got together, back basically 5 years ago, those kids were little 3s and...
That's right, 5 and 3 respectively. Yeah.
And of course stuff goes on in family.
6 and 3, something
like that.
Yep.
Stuff goes on, and we had that talk, and there was some serious stuff going on with your relationship.
There was indeed, and I did a process actually after I met with you, and I haven't told you this story, so this is obviously been told now. The universe works in weird and wonderful ways.
Doesn't it?
Yes. Gracie, just a beautiful lady, and you obviously told me what you told me, and I could have done two things. I Could have got up and obviously given you the digit and said, well, how dare you?
Or hit me even.
Or hit you. I could have really showed you some anger.
Exactly, yeah. Or just withdraw, you know.
But I didn't.
No.
So obviously I listened to what you said, and the trip home, down beautiful downtown Mayfield, I can tell you wasn't much was said. A lot of thinking. And when I got home, I developed a really good relationship with Jill McIntyre, another OneLife graduate.
Yeah.
Where I met Jill doing the ICANNs.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd rock on up and we'd be sitting there and, hi Jill, how are you? And just working a real good rapport up. And when I got home, there was actually a message from Jill to give her a call. I thought, oh, here we go. Roy's giving me a serve. What's Jill going to do? Well, obviously I must have been in a state and a heartbeat and ready to listen, and really listen for the first time, I guess, in my life. And Jill said to me, Bradley, I've got to give you a process, and it's up to you whether or not you choose to do it. He said, but I can guarantee you that if you do it, it'll change you. He said, are you up to doing it? And I went, absolutely.
Because you're a brave soul, courageous, stepping into these fires. That's what I respect so much of him too. All of this, he's got a journey he wants to get on with.
So Jill just said to me, it was about a 10, 15-minute conversation, and Jill did all the talking. She said, I don't want you to talk, I just want you to listen.
That's a change.
Which was a real change, okay, because, I was 110% a 95%er, as well on the charts, and being a hare, I was a bulldozer with a stack out on, it was just full blown ahead, and that was just who I was. And so I shut up, because Jill wouldn't allow me to speak. Which is a wise person, because 60-year-old grandmother had been very, very successful, so I didn't want to step on her toes. So she said, okay, I want you to ask you a question. I said, okay. She said, who are you? Okay. She said, after you find out who you are, then ask yourself, how do you see you? And as I'm writing down, I'm trying to get the emotions at check. And she said, the be-all, end-all was, what do you think of you? Really getting that arrow and aiming it to yourself. And obviously, as I was doing that process, I didn't like, obviously, the answers, but they were truthful answers. So she said, after you do that process, you then got to get a bit of paper and say, I am a. Okay. And then in 10 words or less, complete that sentence. So I'm breathing all this in and, okay, so I'm going to do this. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the most powerful process I've ever done.
Still with you now, I can tell.
So, the end of that was, okay, how did I see myself? And who am I? And then the I am are. Well, now, I'm a licensed real estate solution seeker, an extremely wealthy global investor.
So you changed your identity?
Absolutely. Overnight, this is my work clothes. All real estate agents, or 95% of real estate agents, 98% of real estate agents wear a white shirt. I can tell you, I have every other colour but white. That's who I am. Nice and bright, vibrant personality. Here I am. I'm here for you.
Great.
Yeah.
This man's such a giver, such a giver. In fact, you'll cover some of this. And, we hadn't...
I've got to stand on that.
You do. We haven't rehearsed this conversation. I obviously didn't know he's going to even talk about these things. And yet, to me, it's who he is, a real man. And who can see the courage of this guy? Who can respect this man for who he is in this? There's some people, if you do that exercise, can I tell you, and I've done it myself years ago, do it from time to time, And I can tell you in the early days, because I had probably the same father as he had, who'd come home as a drunk and beat my mother up and us up. And I developed a lot of anger, so I could really relate to him in a lot of ways. And I didn't like myself much. In fact, I didn't like the company I was keeping with me. Things have changed a lot. I love my company now. I love to be with me, as I love to be with Katrina, as I love being with others. But that's that change. And when you change, you attract different people in your life.
You do.
And you can nearly miss, like a Ruth, the one that loves you the most.
Absolutely.
And it's work in progress. It never finishes,
never.
ever.
No, absolutely.
On your awareness, on your consciousness in this. Anyway, let's get on with this.
Yep, absolutely.
So this is the renovating a lifestyle to success.
This is it. That's it.
Bradley Page, stand on your
Beautiful.
cross.
Oh, I've got to stand on the
Exactly.
cross. Okay, well,
So he said 110%, 95%er.
Yep.
Going nowhere, working 60, 70 hours a week. This wouldn't apply to anyone else.
Oh, stand on top.
Yep. Low self-esteem and no self-belief. I was lost, angry, no plan, no strategy.
Absolutely.
Now, clear plan and a strategy. What I want to be, do and have. My income has tripled. Happy, joyful and calm. I'm a go-giver rather than a go-getter. Living from abundance and living my life intentionally through powerful goal setting.
There's one missing there, Roy.
Mm-hmm.
The hours worked now are 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. Which is exceptional for an agent, because you do work Saturdays.
I do.
Yeah. So there's days off to make that up and to be with his kids and do all that.
Absolutely.
Get on your butt.
Oh, I'm right.
Transaction number 1. A busy close. This is Woodbury. A quick little reno, an on sell, looking for a vacant property.
Yep.
Feasibility study number 61. So in other words, he's got 100 to do it. It took him to 61 with his little team to get to this. This is again his absolute commitment. This property was due to be auctioned. The purchase price was 146,000. This is a little suburb not far from here.
Can I just stop there, Roy? Okay.
As long as you're on your little square.
I'm on the. Oh, there we go. Stay. Okay.
Just to break the pattern. Not at all. No, you're
Fantastic,
doing good.
fantastic.
Just to break the pattern, that's all.
Okay. It was due to go to auction.
Yep.
And we actually put the offer prior to auction. Because as we go into it, we had obviously our kitty.
A little team?
Our little team.
How much did they all put $2,000 in or something?
We put all $2,000 in each.
How many was there?
There was 10 of us.
So it's 20 grand?
Yep, 20 grand each. And
20 grand total?
20 grand, sorry, total, I should say, yep. So we went in with 5% deposit with the intention to sign contracts. And we actually signed the contract and took it into the real estate agent and said, there it is. So
Why'd you pick this property?
Why? Because it had a renovated kitchen and all the rest was not very good.
So the kitchen was good?
The kitchen was good.
But
the bones was there. It was in a housing commission area. Nothing, I don't want to single them out, but the area wasn't good. But the price indication there was around that 165 mark, 165 to 170. We found out that he really, really wanted a quick sale. So we thought if we can nut this
and get it done.
If we can
get it down low,
if we can get it at our price, the profits made in the purchase price, we can get it exchanged, and we did. Yeah.
Okay. So your renovation, this is your renovation cost, and for that 10 grand, what did you do?
Okay, there was $2,000 in polishing the floors. The bathroom was $5,000, just on $5,000. We put in new window blinds, and what else did we do? We painted, and
tied it up
outside, new letterbox, even to the point when I show you the outside shot there. I was in charge of actually, before it went on the market, which you'll see how long that we actually owned the property and how quick we turned it over.
Just coming back to this team that you got, you met them here at some of your people from the...
It was a mixture, it was a mixture of past OneLifers, and there was a couple of IPW people, and
so all got together.
like-minded people.
Perfect.
They had to be like-minded people.
Exactly.
So,
So the cost of sales with the conveyancing, I think another $6,000
Yep.
dollars, and 1,800 in
Yep.
labour for the bathroom.
Okay, what the 1,800 for the labour for the bathroom was part of our dream team member was a builder,
Yep.
and he had to have a labourer,
Yeah.
and they worked for about, say, 10 days doing the bathroom. So the dream team member obviously didn't put in for his labour, but we paid for the labour of his worker.
Okay.
Okay,
And you were looking for a sale price of 220,
that's what it actually sold for.
Yeah.
Yep, we put it on the market for 225.
and it exchanged on the 1st of the 4th, 09,
Yep,
with a delayed settlement and access to the property to carry out the repairs. So
Absolutely.
that was your buy,
yes,
not this is the sale price, but this is your buy to buy the property.
Absolutely.
So they're buying this, and they put a condition in,
Yep.
a delayed settlement.
Yep.
And the delay was how long?
9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Yep,
And you got access, so they got possession of the property from the exchange with 5%.
absolutely.
So they could do the reno in the time between exchange and settlement. Does that
That's
make
it.
sense, everyone?
Okay, so
Property
our property,
settled?
that's it, 2 p.m. The time's important here, ladies and gentlemen. We actually settled that property on 2 p.m. the 4th of the 6th, so that was the end of our 9 weeks. Then, because that we finished the property and the renovation, 3 hours later. Why 3 hours later? Because obviously if you bought and sold property, it takes about an hour and a half to get the order on the agent. What's the order on the agent? That's physically getting the keys to the property, even though that we had the keys, but legally we got the order on the agent about an hour and a half, and then this property is about 40 minutes from our office, so by the time the fella got up there and nailed the thing, 3 hours.
Right. So the property was sold.
Yep, the following day.
Is that quick?
Must have been a good agent. I don't know who the agent was.
I don't
No
know.
idea.
Probably an angry agent.
Very, very angry agent. Yeah.
Probably wears a red shirt. That's how angry he is.
I think I was wearing a blue shirt at the time.
Okay, oh, that's good. So, virtually exchanged contracts, got possession, did the renovation, finished the renovation on Friday, puts it on the market on Saturday, and it sells.
Yep.
Good.
Good stuff.
10 members,
Yep.
2,000 each,
Absolutely.
make a share of profit. Therefore, we had $20,000 in our kitty,
Yep.
outlay on all the expenses.
Yep.
Here's
Okay.
the deal.
There's the deal there. Okay, so breaking it down, sale price was 220,000. Purchase price, which obviously was the 146 plus all our expenses and outlays, which gave us a profit of $55,208.25. Now, this is where it gets. Do you want me to keep going down
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Okay, keep going. Where I've got these less figures, these are actual figures. We had a dream team member there that wasn't financial, and you'll get that. You'll get someone that can't put in money, but geez, they could be a draft person. They could
Add value in
they
another
could
way.
add value in painting or labour or whatever it may be. So what another dream team member said, he said, look, the team itself shouldn't be penalised for that, so they actually put in another $2,000 to cover that extra dream team member. So that means that we still had that 20,000 rather than 18,000. So with that dream team member, we said, that's okay if you want him to do that, but what we then want to do as a group was then pay her back from the profits, and they agreed with that. Okay, so does it make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Because your intention to start with is you want to build a little kitty,
Yes.
which is 10 people with 10,000 each, is 20, do a number of transactions,
That's right. Just
build
keep
your
building it
kitty up so you can do more and more, because it's a little $146,000 transaction, and build up and do, and you've gone on and done more of those,
Yes.
land and various ones and stuff. This is just a story that happened then.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then the next one was the team
Let's
fee.
the team fee here. I think this is really, really important now, Roy and ladies and gentlemen, to talk about alignment. Alignment is critical in doing any transaction, whether it be property or work, business, whatever it may be.
Any relationship, like a wife,
Absolutely.
children,
Oh,
business, in activity.
yeah, absolutely. And when you have alignment, and I'd probably just like to talk about my experience from IPW after we had our wonderful conversation and I did my process, I then immediately booked in to do the IPW and an abundance revisit.
Hey, just stopping there for a second.
Yeah.
This lady, Jill McIntyre, when she came to us, she was out in the car, she came in the car park and she said, we interviewed her and talked to her as people get up and talk, and she said, I'm 58 years old, Roy, everything I own is in that car. And you can't put much furniture in a car. My husband's passed away, kids have left, this is me. I'm starting from here. Within a year, we had her doing wraps and stuff. She did a transaction with two people that she met here. One was a plumber, if you remember.
That's right.
Another one who was just a person who was standing around and met her. The three of them got together. They made $600,000, of which she got 200, and the other one got 200, and the other one got 200.
Wonderful lady.
Really, biggest heart. And she went on and she's actually done lots of transactions. She started teaching, coaching, and doing all sorts of things.
She's into teaching and mentoring now as well, so wonderful lady.
And, you know, she would have done that mentoring as a gift to you.
She did. Well, it was a gift from the universe to have talk from yourself and there, and then having Jill there. And I didn't ask her to call me. It was just a call. All I said to Jill was, any time that you want my help in doing feasibilities or RP data in my area, give me a call.
Yeah.
So to have her actually call that at that, that appropriate time, to have the call away.
Universe never makes mistakes. Grace never
no, it doesn't.
makes
Grace doesn't make mistakes. No.
So here's your net profit.
Yep. So
47,000.
Yeah. Well, just hang tick there. We just skip one there. We've just got to go back to that about talking about alignment, because of that $2,000 there. We did have a dream team member fall out of alignment that didn't want to be part of our crew after this transaction, or actually while the transaction was going.
It was the same one that didn't have the money to put in.
Didn't have the money to put in the first place.
Funny about that, isn't it?
Yeah. So we thought, as the remaining 9 dream team members, we had a vote, and it was unanimous to say send her out with love. Gave her part of $5,220.82, and thank you very much. Gave her kisses and cuddles, and
so she wasn't into the next transactions that made profit. And just notice how we are in that, not again judgment or anything wrong or guilt. When a person's challenged financially, it's whether they get that lesson to actually move.
Yeah.
And she was in a very supportive environment, and the pattern that she was running is that she's consistently running that pattern. So take the money, run, blow that on another thing, and then can't work out why the universe is showing up this way. And we probably have a lot of blame stories and stuff. And it's not to make her wrong, it's just to notice the patterns we all run.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the words are, how long you're going to keep doing this before you really want to live your life? When you want to give up, what's in the way? That's all.
That's it.
It's just success leaves clues, and so do some of the challenges. They leave clues too.
Success leaves huge clues.
Okay, so this was her profit share money that you gave back.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
So we get the net profit basically, yes, at the end of it. So we ended up with the same $5,220.82. Now what did that, and Harry actually point this out, okay, I've got the 266% return in 4 months, but really we only owned the property for 3 hours.
Is that worth a clap? And again, just putting this into action.
Absolutely.
And what needs to happen. Doesn't matter really what the numbers are, what time. It's just a learning. But I remember talking to you on mentoring, and you said, "Roy, we just done a transaction," and you shared the story, and I was just said, "Wow, that's great. How do you feel?" He said, "Sensational." And the team were just excited, you know. And you know, when you think about it, you're dividing that up. It's not even the money; it's what did you learn. What did you convert? How did you turn, 2,000 into that? And all the learning, what would you pay for that? Like that, you couldn't, just worth,
tenfold. But even the thing, yes, this was feasibility number 61.
64, is it?
61, and just the learning process in the other 60 feasibilities is that putting in those offers, negotiating with the real estate agents and building your A-team, having the confidence to go and phone up a solicitor, sit down with a solicitor, talk through the contracts and all those sorts of things is just invaluable, because prior to this one, we actually were successful on a block of land. And I don't know whether or not I've told you, like I know we've, as I said, had a lot of wonderful conversations. And we actually were successful on a block of land, and we're going to put a duplex on it. Had everything all worked out, and it just worked an absolute treat. We actually paid the 10% deposit. We hadn't exchanged the contracts, sitting in our solicitor's office, and he just made the comment. He said, look, Bradley and I was with Jeff, the garbage truck man, and he said, Bradley and Jeff, what I would like you to do before I exchange contracts is I want you to phone up the council and ask them one question. I said, yeah, sure. He said, ask them how many subdivisions are they allowing in this subdivision, if that makes sense, meaning how many blocks are you allowed to subdivide, because in this particular council they had a number. So he said, okay, we'll do that, because we're sitting there on the Friday, so we phoned up on the Monday morning. Lucky we did, because we were about to blow 20 grand. The answer that came back was the council were going to allow 20 blocks to be subdivided. They already had applications for 24.
Wow.
So we had a choice. We could exchange and hope that 5 pulled out and we could go ahead, which is a risk. Everything's a risk. The bigger the risk, the greater the reward. But we thought, no, this isn't with ease and grace. This isn't with money down, maximum return, all this sort of stuff. So we pulled out. So that A-team member saved us 20 grand.
Yeah. And Jeff's an interesting man. You call him the garbage truck driver, because that's what he does, to drive garbage trucks.
Yeah. He now subcontracts to them out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he did a transaction that we worked with him. He made a small profit on that. I think it was 1.2 million. Still has garbage trucks. Yeah. But now he owns a garbage truck, doesn't drive them. And he's into waste disposal. Very successful, mine like a bear trap. Very sharp.
Very sharp. Very. And just
loving
man. What you find, and I'll obviously discuss through here, is that like attracts like, because people like them. So when you're vibrating on the same frequency, because it's not the law of attraction, that's the law of laws. It's the law of vibration. So depending on how you are vibrating, that depends on
who you attract.
And
how they feel about you, even when you're talking to them.
Absolutely.
We just talked about that, the agent, and what was going on, and his vibration or her vibration, what's happening. Jeff's a beautiful guy, and you could meet him at a party, and what do you do? I'm a garbo. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's interesting how people react to things. As if, where do you live and what's your job? Like as if that would have something to do with some assessment of you. Nothing to do with anything.
No.
Who are you in the heart of hearts?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's the property.
Here we go. Absolutely. I haven't seen these on the big screen. This is really... Can I move away from my daughter, or
I don't know.
Move around?
I think so. Just a fraction. So this is before shot.
That's the before shot. Look at that. Okay.
This is
beautiful.
the after.
Dimming the lights.
Yeah. So we can see it a bit more.
How does that? Is that coming up all right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's good.
So you put a few little plants in.
We ripped out a few of the old plants. Yep. We painted. I'll focus on the bigger picture. We obviously painted the front window. We put in a new front door. Kept the front beautiful security door on there. That's why it was open when the photo was taken. Put a little bit of number 17 lawn feed on the lawn. Painted the outside, and even to the right of that picture there, where the carport is, I should say, was 4 big brick piers. And what was on it was a beautiful rundown falcon from next door neighbour.
Nice.
Beautiful. Oh, great look. So what did we do? Thinking outside the square, being creative. I went and knocked on every door. Before I actually came onto the market, I whippersnipped and mowed all the lawns, because I was going through the receipts and there was $28 of petrol. And I went, geez, did I spend that much on lawn fuel? That's big blocks. But anyway, this car. I went to Super Cheap Autos, bought a $50 car cover, and gave it, as you'll see along, being a
contribution.
As a contribution, I said, here's a gift for you.
Protect that car of yours.
Protect that car of yours.
And just hide it
he
away.
He just thought it was an ant's pants, and he put it on his car. Nice bright blue, beautiful.
Good thinking.
So here we go. Okay. Do what comes naturally. Before I probably talk into that.
Yeah, let's get into what that wrap deal's about. Let's talk about that.
Talk about the wrap. Yeah. Probably before we actually do the wrap, actually, what the circumstances leading up to that, I think, is really, really important. Is that for 2 years, my wife and I were procrastinating. Will we, won't we? Will we, won't we sell our home? And we made the decision Christmas last year. Yes, we're going to do it. So then the
That's
discussion...
a big discussion, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot, getting them out of those things. A lot of stress, a lot of mortgages, a lot of stuff. And, you know, in marriages, relationship, and
Absolutely.
there were some struggles and various things.
Yes.
But to have the confidence, and you're working on yourself, you know,
Absolutely.
she sees a future,
Yes.
and all that possibility again, and trust you again
Yep.
to go and sell the house, big time.
It was huge, and obviously it wasn't just myself and my wife. We had
Yes.
2 young souls that I had to consider as well. And when we did make the decision, we obviously consulted them. And all my daughter wanted, she loves a wardrobe. She loved a wardrobe in her room. She said, "I want a big wardrobe, Daddy." That's fine.
I think we can make that.
I think we can make that happen. And Elliot, being the beautiful soul he is, Dada, as long as I've got shelves in my room, I'm happy, mate. Right.
Yeah, the funny thing
Okay.
about kids, they're
So this is
absolutely
good.
more adaptable than adults are.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
all people think, it's the kids, it's the kid. No, it's mum and it's dad's the problem.
Absolutely.
The kids are fine,
Yep. Hey.
and it's great that you consult them, and it's great that you
Absolutely.
check those things out.
We just checked them in with them because they were a big issue. So then we had a family conversation as to where would we go. So my wife is actually in the energy healing and the Reiki, and she's now in the process of actually doing remedial massage as well. So with me doing my share industry trading and RP data stuff, it was important that we had the house that we went to was, say, a separate room, like a wealth creation room. So I just said, well, ideally, guys, family, is what we'd like is there was a house around the corner, 8 Robert Street, that was actually on the market, and I actually sold 12 months prior. It was all done up, had an ensuite, had renovated bathroom, smallish kitchen, but it was really, really neat and tidy. So I just set it out and I said, ideally,
That would
that'd
suit
suit our
us.
criteria. That'll
Yep.
suit us. And as I said, we're talking Christmas, New Year last year. So, and Ruthie remembered the property, and I pulled it up on RP data, showed her the photos, and said, yep, that's good. So I just went about cleaning up the gardens, did some painting. My property came on the market on early March, sold it within the first week at $9,000 above market expectation, which was great. We presented it a treat, and we obviously did certain things to that property to present it to get that get that
Margin.
price. Okay. So when we exchanged contracts, we still had no idea what we were going to do. So I negotiated a delayed settlement. I wanted 10 weeks to work out
Where are you going to live?
where we're going to go. So we wanted to lock in our buyer first. I thought that was paramount. It was important to lock it all in. So then I wanted at least 3 to 4 weeks to look around. Are we going to live in like a rent-to-buy type sort of situation, or are we going to move into our house of our dreams, or are we going to rent? So for the first 2 weeks, didn't like what was happening and what was out there. And lo and behold, I overhear my property manager taking a termination notice off a client, and the address happened to be, you guessed it, 8 Robert Street.
Perfect.
Okay. So, universe, Gracie, lining everything up. Our property settled on the 20th of May, and I think those tenants moved out on the 5th of May. So I had about 2.5 weeks of
Getting
paying,
it organised.
paying extra rent, but it gave us 2.5 weeks of just moving with ease and grace. It's a bugger of a job moving, and I'm so pleased we had that 2.5 weeks just to chip away at it, just move in,
Get it
just
done. Okay,
ease and
so
grace.
Brad, just for sake of time, we're going to get on with this
All
one
right,
here.
sorry, okay, yep.
That's okay. Stay on
Yep.
your
Stay on the spot. Yep.
And what I want to do is move on to this wrap,
Oh, the wrap,
and just
okay.
do the deal, because
Beautiful.
we talked a bit about wraps. We talked about how this is, and this is a classic wrap. This is where he buys the property, he wraps it. In other words, he creates a loan, his own loan, and adds, the normal one is 2%. So if you're borrowing at 7.5, it's 9.5.
That's right.
And then the money that comes in, and they pay the rates and taxes with an option to purchase. So you're selling an option
Yes.
at a price, and you tell them up front it's above what you paid. It's usually 20%, thereabouts. And it's basically a delayed settlement. So Jill was doing quite a few of these. This is not something I do at all, really, but they're very, not very popular. They're one of the 8 strategies. So we're just showing you this one to see. and this fits this particular criteria.
Absolutely.
So the wrap deal,
Yes.
purchase price 218,500 at an auction.
Yes, it was.
Exchanged was on the 8th this
16th
year.
of the 8th, August, yep.
Settlement date is 11
11
a.m.
yep.
Funny time, anyway.
Absolutely.
27th of the 9th, about a bit
End of
over a month
September,
later. A new tenant slash future homeowner, because they've got the right to do this, moves in on the 27th on the basic settlement
5
day.
p.m. straight after.
Straight after. Renovation cost $250. New letterbox and 2 tips to the dump was all he did.
Absolutely.
His selling price is $299,000.
Yes.
So almost 300,000, about 80 grand difference. Upfront cost, 21,850 being the 10% deposit and the stamp duty costs and some solicitor's costs. So about 30 grand, call it for want of a better number.
Yes.
So he's put 30 grand in. He's got a purchaser on this with an $80,000 possible rise.
Yep.
Deposit was paid, $12,000, because this is a person who has trouble being able to get money, and he does this, or they do this, with considering $5,000 in cash and $7,000 first homeowners grant.
Yes.
Homeowners grant and the loan, their loan. This is
this is our loan. Yep.
7.45.
Yes.
Amount of borrowing $199,000 because he's actually lending back all the money, less the $12,000,
the deposits and stuff. Yep.
including the mortgage insurance. And our tenant, new home owner, is paying 9.45. There's the 2% margin on the creation of money.
Yes.
And the breakdown as follows: they're paying $610 a week.
Yes.
And then Brad and Ruth are paying $325.
No, we're actually paying $320. But
$320.
$325 is actually coming off the mortgage weekly, off that $610.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the $55 for land rates and insurance.
Yep.
And $230 in profit per week. So it's giving them a cash flow.
Yes.
Or a net $115. Now the reason it's each because there's Brad
and another business partner.
And a business partner. So they're sharing the profit.
The cost.
Here's it looks like $299, which is $300,000, less the deposit, $12,000, less the mortgage. There's a mortgage on the property.
Yep.
Less the partner's cash reserve, which went in there at almost 30 grand.
That's right. We get that money back. Yep.
There's the profit, 58,000, and there's the return of the deposit.
Yep.
So if you add these two together, you get about 70,000. Can you see that? That's the profit on this transaction. And if you divide it by 2, it's 35,375 each. And what's the return on this? It's called infinite return. Hard to actually put a number on that. Very, very quick transaction. Now, this is the house.
That's the house.
And it was basically like this when they bought it.
Absolutely.
They didn't paint it, they didn't do any reno, they didn't do anything. It's all in the buy price and the deal put together to pass it on.
Very, very important thing that I would like to say on this, any transaction, is 9 important words actually from Warren Buffett that really ring true to me all day, every day. And it's when you are emotional, you make poor decisions rapidly. So I'll say that again because it is really, really important. When you are emotional, you make poor decisions rapidly. So with real estate, you must take that emotion out of it. As soon as that emotion kicks in, you're paying too much.
Just a clarity on this, because I want to be really clear in our communication here.
Yes.
What Brad is referring to an emotion, fear, greed, anger, anxiety. Is there an emotion called love?
Absolutely.
Can you make some really good decisions when you're in love and you're loving? Some would say, I did that once. Wasn't a good decision. I'm going to suggest to you that when you're truly in love and truly a go-giver, as Brad is, then you can make some very good decisions. So we're talking about, let's call it negative emotions. And in that, you will always fail pretty well.
Absolutely.
Any decision based on fear will be always the wrong decision. Who's following that conversation with me somehow?
Well, I can tell you how much emotion in this property is for me. I can tell you the street. I can't tell you the house next door, either side or across the road. Haven't even been inside. It was just the transaction. It was the numbers. I'm a creator. It was the numbers worked, and away we went.
Okay. Let's move on. Following my dream until I fulfill
each and every one.
Committed to being a
wonderful role model. Yep. now moving into buying. Okay, this is basically where I'm wanting to go right now. Okay,
What's your next step?
Yeah, my next step is setting
Commercial properties.
Setting some big goals. Probably my biggest goal in the next 7 years is actually retire from the JOB. Commercial buy and hold probably in the next 2 years. More wrap transactions. Obviously, happier, healthier, wealthier. Travelling the world. That's actually a map of the world. Why? I'm a global investor. So you put a dot in there, that's where I am.
You'll be there.
Absolutely.
Brad, I know you want to just share, you got 7 little steps here, yes?
Yeah, okay, the next one I think it is. Okay, 7 points to help you succeed. I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 6 up there, and I've got a little bonus one, and I've left that off for a reason. And I've heard that, I've been up here for a couple of hours, and that top one will always show up. Know your why. Why do you want to do what you want to do? Why do you want to do a property transaction? It's not just the money. To me, money's irrelevant. Yeah.
Who are you going to become?
Who are you going to become to do this? Yeah.
So speeding through them real quickly.
Yep. Living life intentionally, 4 by 90 day goals, action plans. Very, very important. Very, very important. I live and breathe that now. It's so important. Read books on everything that resonates with you and you will move you towards your goals. So important. I'll give you 3 that have really, really helped me. Roy touched on the love. Beautiful book on love. 5 Languages of Love by Gary Chapman. Didn't even realise there was 5 languages of love until I read it. Okay. Brian Tracy's Goals book. Super book. Nice and big, bold font. Really, really important. Okay. And the next book, which actually resonates back to our not so wonderful conversation, was a book on body language. Nicholas Boothman. How to Make Someone Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. So powerful. That's about reading people's body language, what they are, visual, autocratic, all those sorts of things, to read their body language that you can actually then resonate with them without them even knowing it. Really, really powerful stuff.
Great.
Okay, let your numbers do the walking and your heart do the talking. That goes back into the feasibility. So don't be a hare and a bulldozer and think it's going to happen overnight. I'll give you a quotation. Patience pays big dividends. Please don't be in a hurry. Patience pays big dividends.
All the hairs are writing this down.
Absolutely. If you are patient, you've just seen 2 different property transactions there that I believe have got outstanding profit in them. They didn't come overnight, but we're patient. We're putting in offers almost daily. Unfortunately, we're getting nutted at the moment, but that's okay. I said the right one will show up. Okay? All profits are made in the purchase price. Absolutely. Okay? So...
And celebrate success.
Well, okay, absolutely. Things that you need to succeed. The bonus one that I'm going to give you is mentors. Okay? Select your mentors wisely. I have 5 of them. Make sure that your mentors not only talk the talk, but they walk the walk. There are so many professional speakers out there that are just employed by the companies and they know the company so well, but they're not actually doing the property transactions and they're not doing the share trading or they're not doing the business investments. Okay? So I know you're obviously one of my mentors there, Roy, so you've done a heck of a load. So that's where you can actually learn from those mentors.
Interesting thing, you're one of mine.
Thank you. So 3 of my mentors are actually younger than me, and one of them is actually 18 years younger than me.
So that was one of mine.
So ego is totally out of the corner, and I love my mentors, and thank you for being able to believe in me.
That's great. Okay,
and yes, celebrate. Celebrate it long and loud. How I celebrated that wrap transaction, took my wife and my kids to a restaurant called Scratchley's right on the water. Knew what I was going to order. I just walked straight in, got our seats, and I wanted the seafood platter for 2. And the waiter just looked at me and says, but. I said, no, we saw butts. I said, it's okay. I said, I know you got market prices. I don't care of the cost. I just would like the seafood platter for 2. And she was really, really hesitant to give me the bill. And the bill was $195, but I didn't care. I just wanted to celebrate. It was $195 well spent. Why? Because I was with my family. And they're my wives.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, Brad's got one thing else. He set a goal. He shared this with me just a few minutes before he came on. Get your little goal sheet out. He didn't, he's a bugger. he wrote this goal out. When did you write this goal out?
Well, the way that I do my goals is obviously I do my monthly goals, and I do 12 monthly goals, and I do 90-day goals. So my 12 monthly goals are actually set the 1st of January.
2000, in this case, 2011.
2011, 1st of January 2011. So do you want to read that one there that's actually
highlighted? This week showed me his highlight, this little highlighted one. And it says, share the stage with Roy McDonald at IPW in abundance. Now, of course, I had no idea of this, but it's interesting you get enrolled in someone else's goals program, because I rang Brad. He didn't ring me.
That's right.
He never asked to do this.
No, I didn't.
I said, Brad, we're doing IPW, what's actually called, quantum property. Yep. I said, you wouldn't want to come down and share your story with you, because I'm just looking for a guy local who's just done a transaction or two, and, I just think, and they'd like to meet a real estate agent. And he said, funny you should ask. I could probably do that. Doesn't tell me that it's on his goals program, like 10 months before. It's on a need-to-know basis, and I didn't need to know that.
No.
Harry did the same thing when he did the program. He wrote down that I'll be doing co-presentation of IPW with Roy. Now, he told me that a year after we started doing it. He sort of snuck out his little gold card and said, oh, by the way, it's on a need-to-know basis. Brad, the thing I want to finish with you, though, as an agent, putting your agent hat on.
Agent hat on.
Just, would you like to deal with an agent like this? Brad's going to give you an opportunity to actually deal with him and ask him questions and things like that at another stage, because he's got a little website thing and everything, and we'll put it up here so you can see it, and put it up on the screen so you can get it even if you don't get it now. But I just want to take a second now, just because we're going to lunch here.
Oh, right, we're going to lunch. Beautiful.
Dinner,
I forgot that we're on Roy time here.
No, it's already dinner. we used to have lunch at 4 and dinner at 10.
Yep.
But they've cleaned me up no end. Since we've all been on the square.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see. My left foot hasn't left the...
I know, I'm watching. So, if a person come, to help them, like they come and see a lawyer, what do they need to know? They come and see an agent. What helps, when they come and see and say, what are you looking for? Oh, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedroom, 4, which, okay. Whereabouts? Oh, well, Mayfield or, Charleville or, okay. We call it bumping into things, yes?
We do, yes.
In other words, often they don't even know what they want. But,
they don't.
Yeah. So let's do 5.
Yep.
5 tops. You're going to do them? Okay.
I'll do. Yep, absolutely.
Well, they're here.
Actually, can you just go back? Can we just go back?
Yeah.
Can I have the power to ask the audience 3 questions before we share that one? Okay. If I was to ask all of you, if yourself or one of your family got sick, would you know what doctor to go to? Show of hands. Okay, that's pretty good. Pretty much most of the class, yep. If you got a toothache and you need to go to a dentist, would you know what dentist to go to? Just a show of hands. Yep. Look at this. This is good. Okay. We're now on Roy time at 7:45. At 8:30, you're sitting at home. It's on a Friday night. So we've got 45 minutes time. A real estate agent is going to come to your property and you're going to list that property. Hands up, how many people would know what real estate agent would walk in that front door? Seriously? Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Half a dozen.
Okay, half a dozen. That's about right. We've got about, how many we've got here?
75.
We've got about 70. Between about 5 to 10% would put their hand up. On your cards that you've got there now, on your first 90-day plan, the next time that question is asked of you, whether it be Roy, whether it be Harry, whether it be me or anyone else, you should be in a position to put up your hand.
Because they're professionals, they're part of your team.
Absolutely. And I'll just go on to that. Professionals create, amateurs compete. I'll say that again. Professionals create, amateurs compete. You're talking about your most prized possession apart from your children. So you've got to do the research and the due diligence. Who are you going to trust that most prized possession with? So now we can go to the slide.
Okay.
Okay. So you've made the decision to put your house on the market. Next one, right? There we go. I have a Facebook business page. You can jot that down. When you log onto that Facebook Facebook business page, click the like button, put your details in it, and my beautiful sales secretary will immediately email you a selling ebook, and it's just chock-a-block full of tips. It's got everything that opens and shuts. So if you follow that book to a T, you'll go really, really well.
It's free.
Okay, and it's free. That's my gift to you guys, okay? All right? Beautiful. Okay, build relationships. I could have the next 5 points. I mean, this could be about building relationships. That is just so important. Okay, I've heard Harry building relationships. That's what it's all about. Go into that real estate agency. Go to their open homes. Just really see how they operate. Okay? Observation is power. Judgment is weakness. So just observe. Observe what they do. Observe where that agency is. Observe, probably the most important thing is that if you put your name on that open home list, do you get the follow-up phone call back? Because you can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're not getting the phone call back and you list with that real estate agent, the chances are the people going through your home
Aren't going to either. Correct.
Okay? Like versus like. I think I've touched on that before. People like themselves. So don't list with a real estate agent that isn't vibrating on the same frequency as you. And you'll know about vibration, if they are resonating with you and they're really listening to you, or are they just an order taker? They just want your signature and move forward. Okay? Where is their office located? Really, really important where their office is located. Is it in a light, bright, airy office? Does it really say to you, come on in, have a look at what I've got? Or is it sort of tucked away in a little side alleyway there that offers no lighting, no parking, all those sorts of things? Because you want your property visible. The more visible it is, the more, or the chances are, the higher price you're going to get. Point of difference. Well, geez, this is huge. I'm going to be pretty quick because we're pretty, okay, very quick. Point of difference, size of the ads, the quality of the ads, where are the ads advertised? What sort of websites are they going on? Do they offer professional photography? Do they offer floor plans? Do they offer ABC coloured signs? How often are these ads going to be put into the paper? Once again, going into the professionals create, amateurs compete. An amateur will walk into your property and say, what fee do I need to beat, and I'll beat it. A professional's create will come in and have a clear plan and a clear strategy to say, this is what I can do for you. Offer a certain fee of, say, 2.2 or 2.5%, but then have an incentive in there to say, okay, you're telling me that my property is worth between 4 to 420, okay, I'll take you on board. So how about we draw a line in the sand and say 400, I'll pay you 2.5% up to 410,000, but anything over that, we'll share in the spoils. We might go a 90-10% split. We might go a 60-40 split, whatever it may be. So that way that you know that real estate agent is working diligently for you to get that higher price. Mm-hmm. Okay? And always create a win-win outcome. Always. Not a win-lose, not a lose-win-win. Win-win.